Hello and thank you so much for joining me for some Saturday night crafting. My name is Sasha Reade. For today's project, I thought it'd be really fun to do some name key rings for book bags or school backpacks, or even like using them as gift tags. I thought I'd share with you a fun and easy way to use some of those beautiful chunky embossing powders that you might have seen around, or these ones here in this video are a new release from WOW and they are stunning. They have chunks of holographic kind of glitter in them. They're really cool. I've got these acrylic keychain blanks. They've been sitting on my desk for a little while and I thought it'd be fun to see if we could use embossing powder on them. Now this is the first embossing powder that I tried and used. It is a really cool kind of marble effect embossing powder. So I've got this one here as a sample to share with you, and then the rest of them I'm doing with these ice embossing powders, which are the ones with the holographic glitter. Really cool. Now, if you do not have acrylic keychains, don't worry, just keep watching the video. I'll share with you how you can make exactly the same thing with cardstock. So don't worry if you don't have acrylic keychain blanks, I will share with you a way you can do it as well. So the first thing I'm doing is inking up that whole entire side of the keychain. Give your embossing powder a shake. If it has got chunks in it and it's got extra dimension, make sure you roll it or shake it and kind of mix it up. Now I'm taking a wooden popsicle stick thing and I'm just kind of gently pressing that powder down into the sticky adhesive that I just put onto that acrylic backing. And then I'm going to gently tap the back side of it to get any excess off. Now it's so important if you've got a dual heat tool that you make sure you're on the lowest air setting. So you do not want full blowing power. You want it to be on a lower setting because you do not want all your embossing powder just blowing straight off your project. So I'm going on a lower air setting and kind of gently easing my way into melting all of that. Once it is fully cool, and it is a thick piece of acrylic, so make sure that it is fully cool, we can then go ahead and do the other side. So I'm going to go and do the exact same thing. I'm going to squish it down into my ink pad, and then I'm going to cover it in embossing powder and then heat set it. Again, I shook my jar before I went ahead and applied the embossing powder to my acrylic piece. So again, heating it nice and gently. You can see some of that glitter has spread around, but you can see there's still plenty on there. And how beautiful is that? Absolutely gorgeous. Now here are two others I made. That one on the left is that gorgeous kind of marble effect embossing powder I was sharing with you, and the one on the right is the pink from the Trio collection that I shared as well. Now obviously the edges of these kind of get a bit of mess. The glitter is kind of stuck over the edges. There's some embossing powder that's kind of trailed off onto the side, and rather than add extra embossing powder on there, which wouldn't really work because it's chunky, we're going to file off all the excess from around the edge. So this is just a simple nail file. I'm going along the edges and filing it all off and making it nice and smooth again. Here you can see I'm doing a little test. I'm pushing on it. I'm rubbing my fingers really firmly, and none of that embossing powder is shifting. It is well and truly stuck on there, which is really nice. I've got these metallic craft pens. They're a permanent metallic pen, so I'm going to go ahead and use those to do the edges. So I'm doing the ones with the silver glitter in it in silver. And then that one on the left is done in gold. So you can kind of just add a nice little edge really simply and easily, and it kind of pulls together those colors really well. Now, in a minute, you're going to see an oopsie where I do manage to accidentally pull off some of that embossing powder, and I'll share with you how you can fix it and what to do. But I wanted to add some names, so I've just popped quickly into my Cricut design space, and I'm just making up some names. And I will cut those out of my vinyl, which is a permanent sticky vinyl, so not heat transfer vinyl, just regular permanent vinyl. I'm making sure to adjust the measurements to the size of my acrylic pieces, which is just about 2 inches, so I decided to make it 1.9 inches on each one, and then that way I know that those names will fit in there. So I'm going to go ahead and run it through my Cricut machine. I wanted to do them in different colors, so I'm going to space out my names on my little Cricut mat just to make sure that I can use some scraps of my vinyl up, and then I don't have any wastage. These are nice and small, so it's a great way to use up scraps of vinyl if you've got them lying around. If you don't have a machine like this, you could always use vinyl and use die cutting letters and just kind of cut your own little letters out and put them on. Now this is where I had the oopsie happen, so I'm going to go ahead and weed off my vinyl, so I've only got the names left over. The transfer tape that you can see there on the top of my screen is brand new to me, and it was really sticky, and I didn't realize quite how sticky it was. It wasn't like any of the vinyl transfer tapes I've used before, so it was massively sticky, and you'll see in a second it just pulls all of that embossing powder right up off of my little acrylic panel. So really devastating. So I do rub it down, and I shouldn't have done the rubbing because it was quite firm, which would be fine on cardstock, which I'll share with you in a minute. But on this, not so good. And then look what happens. It just all pulled up. So it stuck to it and pulled it all off, which is the problem with the acrylic block. It's really a smooth surface, which isn't brilliant for embossing. It does work for this project. However, you need to have less sticky adhesive if you're going to do this. So all I did was the same steps again. I just added on some more of my Wow embossing ink, and then I applied my embossing powder again, and I did the exact same thing as I did the first time, and applied the embossing powder right back to that same acrylic block. So this time I took a piece of tape and I made sure to remove as much sticky as I could so that it would just hold down the vinyl. And then that way it stuck onto that embossing powder. It didn't lift any of my hard work. So here it is, all beautiful and ready to go. It won't last forever. It's not meant to last forever, but it is a gorgeous little fun keyring or gift tag. So going back to the damaged one, I kind of lifted a bit more of the embossing powder that wasn't as stuck down. And then as I said before, I'm just going to ink it up and repeat the same process, and it is good as new. You wouldn't be able to tell that I'd kind of mucked it up and didn't get it quite right. And so it works really, it's really quite forgiving. It works quite well. And then this time I went ahead and did the same exact technique where I used a piece of low tack tape, very, very low tack. Used some of my anti-static embossing powder bag there just to kind of take some of that stick out. And then I managed to place the name down on top of it with no problems at all. Now in my little kit with these keychains came these kind of fun little tassels as well as the key ring chain bit of it. Now I'm not a jewelry person, so if you're watching this and going, that is not how it should go, forgive me. I'm just having fun with it. Got some pliers out. I think they're like even electrical pliers, I'm not sure. But I just added some of these tassels to some of the tags, finished them off. And I really like how they turned out. I thought they were really cute and pretty. My daughter walked in and saw them while I was finishing them off and is so thrilled to bits about the one that's obviously for her. Now, you don't have acrylic blocks, no problem. Dig out some of your shape dies, or even if you have shape punches. So if you've got circle punches or whatever shape you've got, you can turn them into tags as long as they're not ginormous. And all I'm going to do is cut 4 of each, and then I'm going to glue all 4 together. Now, if you don't have an industrial size hole punch like this one here, then you can just go ahead and punch your holes first and line them up so they're all spaced evenly, and then glue them together. But I'm doing the exact same process as I did with the acrylic block, and this will actually stick a bit better, but it won't be as strong. It won't be as thick as the acrylic block, but the embossing powder is designed to stick to cardstock and not to acrylic, so these will stick a lot better than the other ones. And I'm doing the exact same thing with the edges. So the edges aren't quite as smooth as the acrylic, but when you go ahead and color them in with a pen, they look gorgeous and smooth. Now I found the easiest way to get my names to stick to these ones, because the embossing powder stuck so much better. I found that I really needed to rub off some of the embossing powder, whatever would come off, with a cloth gently, just where I'm going to put the name, so that the name sticks really nicely to that part of my little tag. So these would be really cute and really perfect for a gift. Like you could put it around the neck of a bottle of wine or something, or you could put it on a child's birthday gift. And they're a more inexpensive way of making the exact same thing. It's slightly less durable, but it looks gorgeous and costs not a heck of a lot, especially if you're using up some of your scrap bits of white paper. So here they are, finished off with a keyring and the little tassel thing again. Obviously you could just put some beautiful ribbon on that if you wanted to, rather than waste a keyring if you're going to just put it on a gift. But that was my fun little project for the day, and I hope you enjoyed it and got inspired. This is such a great project for those chunky, beautiful embossing glitters that you may have, to be able to use them up and really show them off. So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have a fantastic weekend and a fabulous week ahead. See you soon. Take care. Bye.